Good evening. Welcome to the Camera Artist Guild Thursday Critique. I am your host, George DeLoache. I'm a portrait artist and photographer's coach, and this is where we help photographers learn to master the photographic arts. Camera Artist Guild was started about 3 years ago with a specific desire to help photographers grow and master the art form of photography. It doesn't make a difference where you are in your photographic journey, whether you're just beginning or whether you've been at it for quite a while. All of us can learn from the process of critiquing images. A lot of times an extra set of eyes can see things that you don't see. And each time you enter into the critique process, your work improves. I have watched artists who have started out with us 3 years ago or a couple of years ago, and I've watched them improve weekly as their work gets better as they submit themselves to critique. So I hope that you'll come and do that. Now I got to take care of a couple of other housekeeping things and share with you a couple of things that I think are important. I have several workshops going off here in the near future. This coming Sunday, August the 4th, 2019, at my studio in downtown Los Angeles, I'll be putting on a workshop on the creative process for professional photographers of LA County. That's my local PPA affiliate. It'll go from 9:30, I think, until 4, and we're going to have a lot of fun. There's going to be other photographers there. We're going to spend some classroom time in the beginning working over some of the more technical aspects of creativity, and then break for a good lunch, and then we're going to enter into in the afternoon session, we're going to get hands-on shooting. We're going to literally start out and take what we learned in the morning process and build a lighting set from scratch, choosing a specific modifiers for a specific purpose, choosing the lighting direction, choosing the reflectors, the fill, the lighting ratio, all those other things that go in to determining the aesthetic values of an image. And then we're going to create images right there in the studio. You'll walk away with something. I usually love to take photographs of all the participants, so you may walk away with a good portrait that you can use to promote your business. Anyway, that's going to be this coming Sunday. In October, there is a likewise similar workshop, only this time it's on creative lighting, and it is for PPA, Professional Photographers of America, their Super One-Day Workshop. So if you'd like to know more about it, go to ppa.com and you can find out more about it. Now finally, on September the 15th through the 20th, at the legendary Ghost Ranch in northern New Mexico, I'm going to be teaching a week-long workshop or a 5-day-long workshop on environmental portraiture and landscape. Now, the Ghost Ranch is best known for Georgia O'Keeffe, one of the 20th century's foremost southwestern artists. Georgia O'Keeffe moved there and spent most of her adult life there creating. Her work is all over the world. She is just a phenomenally famous person. She was married to Alfred Stieglitz, one of the top commercial photographers of the time. And that particular area became an artist conclave and has been for 50, 60 years. Some of the top photographers of the 20th century have been there to visit and to photograph. Ansel Adams has been there, the Weston brothers have been there, Joseph Karsh has been there, Arnold Newman has been there, Felipe Halsman has been there. All of them have gone there and photographed because they found it to be such a phenomenal place to be. I was there in March, and I can tell you that there's a vibe there that just permeates everything with the desire to create. It's beautiful scenery, great geology, wonderful colors with all of the southwestern flair. So come unplug from the craziness of the cities. Come join us for a week there where you can help to soothe your mind and improve your creativity. You will not leave the same way you came, I guarantee it, because I know how much I got out of it just visiting, and together we're going to create something really special. So I'm looking forward to those people. Now, the Ghost Ranch has made a phenomenal offer. Besides having very reasonable rates for room and board, and that's food and the room and the class, they have made a special discount offer available for my group. And that discount offer is for $100 off the actual price. So if you're interested, get in touch with me. You can get to me at george@georgedeloache.com. GeorgeDeloache.com. email me and I will send you the special discount code so you can get $100 off on the seminar or on the workshop. Now it's filling up, so you better get going quick because September is going to be here and you don't want to be left out if this is something that you want to do. We're going to spend time specifically focusing on not only the beautiful landscapes, but how to incorporate people into that beautiful landscape so that you can get great looking natural portraits done in the environment. And that skill is transferable, whether it be a businessman in front of an office or whether it be a cowboy out on the range. It makes no difference at all. The skill set translates over. Once you learn those techniques, you'll be able to incorporate them into your creative process. So that pretty much covers all of the general stuff. We're going to jump into the broadcast. We got some great images here tonight, so stay tuned. I'm going to spin around and kick this thing off, and let's get going. And this is Ellie Aves, and what I was saying is that you're at the beach. You got a nice model. You got nice what you guys call the shore on the East Coast. We call it the beach on the West Coast. But on this one, it looks like just slightly that horizon is off. It looks like that horizon is like the camera's tilted a little bit. But the thing that I was saying about this particular image is that it cries out to be a horizontal. You got a model that is posing horizontal. She's got her vertical up here, but her body's stretching out that way. And you've got all of the sand here, which really doesn't add anything to the image. It's just negative space. It doesn't benefit the image at all. Turn this to a horizontal. Drop the camera angle some to where you're closer to her eye level rather than shooting down on her. And can keep the same depth of field. And I think it'll be a much stronger image. But, I really like what you're trying to do. And let's pop that one off. We're going to go to Gary Duncan. What I want to do right now while it's still, well, I'll go back and do it at the end of the broadcast. I'll jump back at the end of the broadcast and bring Lee's up. Gary Duncan, love the saturated color, Gary. It's just, I love high contrast. I love saturated color. And this apparently is one of the head of the golf course, and so very nice. I think he said he did it for Shaw Media, and you're benefiting from the 1/3 compositional line. You're matching up your artificial light well. I think maybe you could have looked around for a location. Now, this could be one of these things where you got 2 seconds. The guy says, look, here I am, take a picture of me here. He jumps out of the cart. You got to take a picture of him where he is. That's it, no chance, nothing to do. But if you could scope that out and find maybe a long shot down the green where you can see the sand traps and the flag and get a feel of golf course. And then I would really consider whether you could maybe find a golf cart rather than this one here that looks more like a transportation vehicle. Now, this could be a different golf court, but I'm just saying if this guy is the CEO or something like that of this golf course, I think he's a football player who's now the CEO of the golf course. Think out where you're going to position him to tell a story, see? We do get a little bit of the sand trap there. We got the green. We got a golf club there, okay, but I think you could have composed it a little bit better, found different areas. I love the exposure. I love the saturation. I love all the technical stuff that you handle the stuff on. But doing editorial, you want to make sure that that image tells a story to people who don't know what's going on. Somebody just looks at it and you want them to go, oh, that's a golf course. Rather than maybe he's I don't know, but a gardener. You want to know, you want to tell the story. So just take that in consideration. It's still an excellent image. Thanks, Gary. And one other, Gary's really stretching himself. He does sports. He's working on these on his portraiture, and this I believe is his son because we see him a lot. This is a nice image. I like the way you've done it. I like the way you handled it. You've also handled this hand under chin, although they used to joke about that all the time in PPA print competition. That's a face punch, where you're punching yourself in the chin. Of course it isn't. But you were smart to have him not rest his full weight on his fist, because that would distort the skin. If you're going to do this one, you kind of want to fake at it. You want to get it to where it's touching, but where there's no pressure on it. So you've done that. Your exposure is fine. Fill is nice. Everything else is working for it, okay? You're getting better at this, at the portraiture stuff, Gary. Keep it up. Your sports stuff is outstanding. Okay, here we go. G. Johnson. And we got several from G on the same subject, so we'll jump through these really quick. I like this one. This is nice. It's simple. It's available light. You got a beautiful lady. You've got nice skin tones. You got nice exposure. You found a place where you have a very broad, open light that's not direct sun. You found a shade or an overcast day or someplace to put her in a shaded area. You've made a great choice depth of field wise. You're using a very shallow depth of field, so you're probably using a longer lens with a wider f-stop, and this is where that depth of field comes in. It is not so shallow that the tips of her hair end up being out of focus. You can go too far and go like f4 at a 200 millimeter lens, f4, f1.4 or f1.8 or f2.8. 2.8, most 200s are 2.8. Let's get your numbers right. Let's say you go 2.8 at 200, and that might literally cause the ends of the hair to be frizzed or look out of focus. But here you've chosen somewhere, I would imagine, in the 5-6 range, which gives you a shallow depth of field, maybe 6 to 8 inches or a foot, but then you're far enough off your background that you got a really nice bokeh there, a really nice background. So that one, I like that one. Thanks, G. I also, this is another one, same maker, G. Johnson. I like using, again, the bridge. This is that same perspective looking down the bridge. You handled it well. Again, she's looking good. You found an area. Again, it's a time of day where your exposure is okay on the face, and you're using the sun to illuminate the hair, but you didn't blow the hair out. So it's a good choice. I might try to pump a little bit of light from an artificial light source towards her, but still, this one worked for available light. It's fine. And then one more there on the bridge. This one's not as much, this one's fine. Again, the shallow depth of field. I happen to like the others a little bit better because I like her pose and the other ones. But you executed these well, so congratulations. Okay, Jerome Lynch. All right, Jerome, working again with this. I guess today we got quite a few at the ocean or the sea or the lake. And probably from where you are, that's probably Lake Michigan. And I like what you're trying to do, but there's a couple of challenges here. You really picked a very difficult lighting situation to work with. You are dealing with the sun, where even though the sun is going down, it is still up here on the horizon, and it's so bright that it draws your attention away from the people, and it tricks your exposure. Now, I know you've thrown in artificial light over there, but they are underexposed. They're just underexposed. If you check with the info palette, which is what I do, click the info palette, it opens up these numbers here, go to the pointer tool, and you start checking skin tones. They're in their 80, the skin tones in the 80 levels, and they should not be in the 80 levels, and the gray t-shirts are like 102, 102, 104. Now, your color's right. That's almost perfectly neutral color. But that gray should be about 128 rather than 102. So, what can we do to pull this one out? Let's see if we can't do a couple of things here to try to pull it out and doll it up just a little bit. The first thing I'm going to do, I always do this even though it's not necessary this time, is Control J, duplicate the layer. I'm going to, I'll use that duplicate layer here in a minute. Now I'm going to go to levels, and I'm going to select levels, and in levels I'm going to play around with the levels. I'm going to go to the mid-level slider, the gray, the mid-tones, and I am going to bring that mid-tone up a little bit to lighten up the skin tones. I'm going to bring the white slider in. It's going to brighten it up a little bit more. I'm going to bring the black slider down a little bit to restore a little contrast right about there. I got too much on the mid-tones. Let's take it back to right along in there somewhere. Okay, now that's pretty good, but now that just blew out this entire area up here and made it even worse. Now how do we deal with that? We go back, click on the layer mask. We're going to fill that mask with black right now. So that I'm going to use Control and Backspace, since my black is on the back side over here. It would be Alt Backspace if it were on the front. But now I've filled it with black. Now I'm going to get my brush, and I'm going to have a white brush. I'm going to have a white brush at 100%. And now I'm just going to go in here to where they are, and let me shrink that brush down a little bit so I can be a little more accurate with it. And let's just bring just the area that we lightened up, just them. We're going to bring that back. You should be able to see it lightening up here as we move around. Now, if you want to check what you're doing, is right next to your brackets, you have the P key on your keyboard. You have IOP on the keyboard on the second row from the top. You have a right bracket, a left bracket, and then you have a straight up and down bar. If you click that straight up and down bar, it applies a red mask to the area that you're working with. The area that you're working with is clear. The area that's red is still being affected by the original mask. So now you can see what you're doing. Now you need to switch colors over this time, actually reverse it. But I can look at it right now. Now I can just go in and clean up all of this area here that I want to have. I want to return to the brightened area that I made. Okay, there we go. Now we've got him pretty well done. I know there's a couple of spots there, but we'll just, in the interest of saving time. Now click that bar and it goes back again. Now they're looking good, but now still the sun up there is just really kind of getting to me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back down to this layer mask right here. I'm going to get my patch tool, Control J. I'm going to take that patch tool and I'm just going to select around the sun and around that kind of corona area of the sun. And I'm going to drag it off into a darker area of the page and click it. And now I'm going to clear up this kind of halo here and the kind of halo off on that side and the halo off on this side. Okay. Now you might say, but I still want the sun. I mean, we at least want to have some indication of the sun. This looks fine. Okay, what we do now is let's go back. We're going to go back that same layer. We're going to go to the opacity slider right here. And we're going to slide that opacity slider back just a little bit until just a hint of that sun comes in. Okay, now there we go. Now we have gone through it. Let's go to the history palette. Let's click the camera icon to take a snapshot of it. This is where we began, and this is where we ended up. Just a couple of things that you can do to make that that situation pop. Hey, Jamie, how you doing, man? Okay, so hope that'll help out. Keep shooting there, Jerome. You're getting better each and every day. Okay, John Harville. John, man, you jumped way out of your lane and going into a product shot here, man. Good move. We have two people, one other person that does a lot of product stuff, Maurice, and we will come across his work here in a moment. Couple of things though. Now, product shots are a different animal, so you really got to think about what you're doing when you put together a product shot. Now, I like the idea that you have her in the background. I would have never chopped her off. I like the fact that she's out of focus. That's great. I like the fact that her hands are gripped, but rotate that cup around so her nails are not interfering with the logo, and so that this TG, the gem, which is the logo, this TG can be seen. It should be right up here. And then if this white bar is blowing that out, then move your position, your camera position, or the light position, so that that bar comes over here and we get the gem sticking straight out in front of the camera without the fingernails getting close to it, because the reflection of the fingernails are also putting a bit of a reflection on the logo. And the main thing is to tell the story. You have a sports bottle, you have a attractive lady in gym attire, and you have the logo. Now the other thing is that there are some kind of marks on the lower end of that bottle. I don't know what they are, whether they're a reflection or whether it's just the fact that the bottle's squeezed and you have those marks there. Those are easy enough to take out. Simply take that same patch tool that I use. Well, now let's duplicate the layer just to be on the safe side, because I may want to, how in the world did that happen? I want to duplicate the layer. I don't want to create an additional layer. Okay, let's do Control J. There we go. Duplicate the layer. Take the patch tool. Come right on in on that one spot right there. Let's just move quickly to try to knock out some of those shadows. And there we go there. Be careful not to dip into the white, because otherwise it will flare out into your bottle. And then let's pull that over there. And I went too far with this and ended up with it looking, okay, there we go. Now we've taken out those marks. You really got to stop focusing on every little detail, because this is a product shot. And work on it. But I really commend you for continuing to stretch and to try new things. Okay, let's see where we are. Oh, Herb and Ambrose, welcome. All right. Keith Davis. And Keith, again, Keith loves these unusual shots, and it is an unusual shot. What can I tell you? You carried it off. To me, I think she looks a little stoned, personally, but maybe that just reflects an old lifetime or so ago in my history. No longer today, but back in the day. Still, you know, you executed it well. Everything's working on that one. Another one to Keith Davis. Keith, I don't know why we took off the top of her head on this one when you have so much torso down here. I can see if you're doing a tight crop, but on this one it's not, so leave the head there. You might as well see all of her body rather than making it look like she's squeezing out of the top of the page with her head all the way up to the very top of the page and much of her torso down below. Okay, there we go. And one more Keith, just a standard lady. And we'll knock that out. Let's jump on over here. Eliave. Again, another one at the beach. And on this one, take some time to really think when you are doing your images about how your model is looking. I think that this would have made a much stronger image if she had, rather than holding her hand to her head, pull this wrap around her going in the other direction. Maybe put her arm on her hip or something like that. That would take care of all this lower abdomen area, which is not as becoming as it could be. And I think she would be happier with the image. We are all very body conscious. And so I think that just stopping and bringing your model into a pose, taking a look at it through the viewfinder, really examining all of the areas. Now, I love the shallow depth of field. That's fine. I would have preferred to be lower on camera angle, closer to her eye level rather than looking down in this direction. But the main thing is bring that wrap around here so that she can, that wrap will help her look slimmer. And I think she'll be much happier with the image. Okay, thank you for submitting. Diana Rutger. Nice image, Diana. You are really getting good at these composites. Each time you do them, you get better, you learn more, you get better skills at it. The dance moves are phenomenal. You put them all together very nicely in a composite. This, I think, would win awards, or if not awards, it would score very well in PPA print competition. It should merit without a problem at all. I think it will do well. So congratulations. You are really, really improving on those composites. I'm watching you move and develop as you go. And Diana is our Midwesterner, Iowa. And just really good work. Okay, this is Diana again. And on this one, you were struggling a little bit. She looks a little uncomfortable. I know you got you're working with the 2 light sources. Congratulations. You've got, I don't know whether this is the sun or a second light source. I kind of tend to believe it's a second light source because there's very little illumination down here in the grass, and if it were the sun, they would be there. It looks like late in the day. And I would say just work on her pose, because you got that dancer in so many elegant poses. She looks just a wee bit awkward in the image. But I like what you're trying to do, and keep on pressing yourself to improve. And I don't know how I missed that one. I guess maybe I get to them. And this is one more from Diana. I just threw this in. She put up a video of this big steam train. They call it the Big Boy. I love steam engines, and this steam train went through her town, and people turned out to take a look at it. And I really love the way you were able to add additional stuff in Photoshop there to kind of highlight the feel of the engine. You can really feel it. You see the smoke bellowing from the smokestack. Looks like it's going into a turn. Just a lot of really cool things about the image. I like it. I like the treatment. So congratulations. When I was a kid, I could lay in my bed at night and I could hear the steam engines coming down the tracks. They were not too far away from where I lived. And they always made me want to get busy and go somewhere. I'd love to go do a steam engine ride here one of these days. Okay, Derek Rogers, where I get that from, Derek Rogers. Derek owns Concrete Studios, and he's got a lot of these studios, and I'm sure this is one of the rooftops with the studio. Very elegant. This is all available light stuff, no additional light source. Got all the models to work together, nice symmetry. Nice, Derek. Another model with, a nice pose. You do see the skyline. I think you can maybe work your composition a little stronger with this one. I almost would really like to lower the camera angle again to get some of the city skyline up there, and this bar out of the center, or this wall out of the center of her torso. I think that if you went lower, you would have more of the city in the background. I think it would maybe make a bit more striking pose, but again, you are an accomplished photographer and know what you're doing, so if you got what you wanted, congratulations. And then this one is outstanding. The movement, the vertical leap, the timing, the lighting, and all of it works together. Excellent work, Derek. Okay, Willie Demetrius Richardson. We've got the farm girl shot, 2 of them. This one's nice, kind of the older truck, and maybe just a little bit more of her face towards the camera. So, but for what you were trying to do, you accomplished it. You got nice warm feelings to it. She's feeling warm and comfortable. I imagine this is a senior shoot, so well done. And now this is another one of the same one. And get her to turn her body a little bit so that you're not getting her just so broad on. A little bit of a turn would add a little bit more dimension to it. And raise your light source. Right now your light source is your artificial light source is about level with her face, and it kind of gives split lighting. If you just bring it up a little bit, raise it up into about a 45-degree angle above her head, it would give a much nicer light pattern on her face. Okay, Ray Jackson. Let me grab a little coffee here. I'm starting to dry out. Okay, that's better. Nice model, nice skin tones, nice everything, but you got our bullseye dead center of the page, what we used to call a keyhole, which you guys don't even know what a skeleton keyhole is anymore, but when I was a kid there was a thing that looked like that. That was a skeleton keyhole. All of this area up here doesn't, all that negative space doesn't do any good. Bring that down, crop that down. You can take that down. Let's see, let's do a 4x5 crop, and let's just bring it down. Yeah, there we go. See, I like to bring it in almost to where I got the eyes on that 1/3 compositional line. Maybe something like that. That's a possibility. Or even go for a horizontal. And there you can take off a little bit of the head there. Let's go just above the collarbone. And let's bring that eye over and drop it right on the 1/3 line. And now let's take a look at it. And I think that that's a much stronger image. She's a beautiful lady. Yeah, well, everything else is there. Just look at that composition and consider some possibilities on different crops. Okay, Maurice James Stewart, I'm sorry. Oh man, Maurice, you killed it on this one, brother. You killed it on this one. I love this. I never would have thought about photographing a bottle from under through a glass surface. That's because understand that the liquor is called silver, and it is clear, and the glass is clear, and the bottle, with everything except for just the blue cap up there, is clear, and it's shot through clear glass. Well done. Well done. Man, I like it. I think you're just really improving so much on your product stuff. Just keep going. You're going to be a force to reckon with here in a little while. You better start putting together a really nice portfolio, because I think you're getting close to being ready to shop it out there and start really going for some big time ad money. Okay, Lynn Green. Nice image, nice colors, nice skin tones. The composition, I struggle with the composition some, Lynn, on this. I've been a biker all my life. I started out on 2 wheels when I was 15 years old, and I have ridden, with motorcycle clubs and ridden all of my life. So I know 2 wheels and the 2-wheel community, the motorcycle community. And no disrespect intended, but this motorcycle is just as important to this guy probably as his lady. I know that that's probably not the politically correct thing to say, but show the motorcycle. And there's no need to crop off feet and legs like that. Pull on back, get that full motorcycle, drop the camera angle again. Bring that camera angle down this time to about waist level, so that you can see the whole bike. Man, I know he spent hours polishing that thing, getting it ready for this shoot. And then do some with him looking the way he is, and then have him kick the glasses up on top of his head or something like that, so that You can see his eyes. And I mean, otherwise they're styling. She is, he is. It's a really a cool image. I just think you could take it to the next level by taking into those couple of things into consideration. And Lee McDowell, again, Lee is known for his photographs of women on white. I believe Lee was the Jet magazine photographer for years. And these are nice. What can I say? It's a nice photograph. Okay, hang on there because I lost the sound, and I wanted to show you some stuff about the first image, and you couldn't hear what I was saying. So I'm going to go back over and go through it again just as soon as I can pull up the file for it and find it. Okay, I'm going to go, this is, whoops, this is another Lee McDowell image. Let me pull this one up. And what I was saying on this one, on the earlier one, is I love the symmetry, the symmetry of the entire image. I love the symmetry. I love all the lines and patterns and shapes. The black and white just pops. The only thing is I kept looking at it and kept looking at it and kept looking at it, and there was something that was just off, and I couldn't tell what it was. So at first I thought, well, maybe it's not level. Well, the way you can check level is you go up here, you go to the pointer tool, turn that pointer tool in, go up to your guide, and, well, let's see, before I do that, yeah, well, okay. Pull up that guide, drop that guide down to those lines that are supposed to be horizontal and check them out. All those lines are right on it. So the lines are horizontal. So maybe it was a vertical, and I went out and I drug the vertical lines out, and I accidentally hit the wrong tool. I drug a vertical line out. Great. Come on. Treat me like that. There we go. I drug a vertical line out, and I checked the verticals. See, if you turn that off, you can see it. See where that vertical line is, and they were vertical. I still couldn't figure it out. So what I did was, in order to check an image, one of the things that really works, and I'll show you why it's important, is Control-J, duplicate the layer. When you're on your pointer tool and duplicate the layer, you get a bullseye dead in the center of the page. This little icon dead in the center of the page. That is dead center, vertical and horizontal, when you after you pop up the duplicate layer. It won't show it to you on the original layer. It'll only show it to you on the duplicate layer. Now we can drag out that horizontal, and if you drag it out, and if the Photoshop is set up the way most of it is, when you get close to it, it'll just pop right there in the guides. And in that bullseye, there's a vertical and a horizontal line. Now, when I did that and looked at it, and I looked down here, I saw what the problem was it's not centered on the page. Here's the center, and there is where the camera is. It's just simple of changing camera position just slightly, just dolly left just a little bit, move a little left, and it would have been there. But I understand. I've been there 1,000 times. It's no big deal, so let's see what we can do. We have already duplicated the layer. I'm going to bring out the crop tool, and when you bring out the crop tool, let's take this up because it's a wider image. Let's go up to 5x7 on the crop tool. 5x7 on the crop tool. Now when you switch to the crop tool, that bullseye no longer, let me get rid of the guides. That bullseye no longer is in the center of the page. It is in the center of the crop. So now we can arrow key the crop over just a little bit till we get that bullseye dead in the center of the page again. Double click at the crop. Now you look at it and bam, all of a sudden it's comfortable. And that is a way that you can check your centers and how you can center an image using your crop tool very simply. I wanted to share that little technique with you there.